Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another Premier Division show. And every week there's excitement in this league. Every single week. And I'll say this, I'll just throw this out here before I start the video as well. I watch Premier League games on telly occasionally, but I decided I'd watch two games the other day. I watched Brentford and Chelsea, which was 0-0, and I watched Man United and Man City, which was 0-0. And you think all the money that goes into these Premier League clubs and all the Sky money and the huge advertisement and the global reach and all that kind of stuff, and the quality, guys, for me, for that money is not good. The product for the money that's there is not good. Generally drab atmospheres, robotic football, to be honest with you, and poor to watch. And people often say, they won't watch the League of Ireland because it's poor to watch. I watched two games of the weekend in the Premier League with all that in mind. Very poor. We had a lot of drama, though, in the League of Ireland this week and a lot of goals, and we're about to start off in Dalymount Park. Well, Bohemians had a welcome 4-2 win against Sligo Rovers at Dalymount. And I got the result wrong in my prediction. I said 3-2 to Sligo Rovers, but I did say there'd be goals. Certainly right about that. Sligo Rovers, in fairness, though, they were missing more players than I thought they'd be missing, and big players as well. And they did play a part in this. Both teams' defences played a part also, has to be said. Lacey made his debut for Bowles, but he actually went off after 37 minutes, by the way. But Whelan gave Bowles the lead in 3 minutes. Tierney made it 2 after 5, and Bowles came flying out of the blocks 2 up after 5 minutes. And you're thinking, from a Bowles point of view, what a start to have here. But Lambolt on 24 and Eldin on 29 had made it 2-2 at half time. And you're thinking, what have Bowles done here? And Sligo chances, by the way, in the game. They also chances to go 3-2 up, funnily enough, too. Both teams attacked, both teams didn't defend, essentially, to be honest. And into the second half, Bohemians, they won it in the end. It's about 74 minutes. Good play from Devoy, set up Tierney. Once again, it was Devoy setting up Tierney like he did for the first goal. And the chip from Devoy in injury time was a brilliant chip as well. Very poor defender from Sligo Rovers initially, but Devoy was very clever with his chip to seal, really, the 3 points for Bohemians. Sligo Rovers, as I said, they will be disappointed, but they're missing an awful lot of players and important players as well. That said, Manning came in, doesn't normally play for Sligo Rovers, and assisted with 2 goals in this game. They also lost Ollie Denham after 20 minutes as well. I believe he went off injured, so they were definitely stretched, let's say, their squad, and quite a few of the players who missing were suspended, so that's the only good news, I guess, you know what I mean? So they'll be back next week. But yeah, they're rooted at the bottom of the league at the moment, Sligo Rovers, and just a quick look at it, they're on 4 points, Cork City on 7, Waterford on 9, for example. So, it's a difficult start for Sligo Rovers, there's no doubt about that, and I know they were missing players, but again, all season they've been conceding. I'm sure Sligo Rovers fans would agree with this, they've been conceding some very poor goals. Out of all the teams I've seen so far this season, I think Sligo Rovers have conceded the most poor goals in totality, to be honest with you. And they've actually conceded the most goals. So I've conceded 19. Waterford FC are next on 13. That's a big gap, isn't it? After pretty much 8 games, a couple of teams have only played 7, Shamrock, Rovers and Cork City. But that's a big gap. Now, you do feel like they can score goals, Sligo Rovers, but, you're conceding 3 or 4 goals, you're not winning many matches. It's that simple. Bohemians, they won't care who Sligo are missing or whatever. They had to go out and do a job. And in the end, they did a job and they scored 4 goals and they'll be happy with that. They'll be hoping to bring, it's going to be much more difficult when they play Shelbourne away next week. There's no question about that. But be hoping to bring the confidence, especially like Tierney and Devoy. Important that Tierney and Devoy had really good games, I think, for Bohemians, to be honest with you, because I'd argue still they're probably their 2 best players, But they won't be happy with some of the goals they conceded either. I think, interestingly, Teresco was back in goal for this one. I do think it was a fault for second goal. First goal, defence weren't in line at all, where they was very fractured. Lamboto gets in, plays under Teresco. But for the second goal, I think he makes it easy for Owen Eldin. Owen Eldin still has a bit to do, but by coming out with a goal, a long way out of goal. He makes it easy for Eldon because once he beats Teretzka, he essentially has an open net, doesn't he? He's a lot more to do if Teretzka stays in his line. But I think that's the problem with Teretzka in many ways. He was the number one goalkeeper last year, and maybe a bit of pressure coming into this one. He was dropped and he just comes in after 8 games, and maybe a bit rusty too, to be fair to him. But his decision making wasn't the greatest there. Be interested if he's in goal next week. I think it'd be harsh to kind of go back to James Talbot just because he made one error, maybe. You know what I mean? Considering he's been out for so long, what did you expect, in a sense? But yeah, it's a very good win for Bohemians, and they climb to the lofty heights of seventh in the league now. They're at a Waterford FC in goal difference. Interestingly, they've the same record as Waterford. They've won 3 and lost 5. Both teams haven't drawn actually this season. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments if you're a Bows or Sligo Rovers fan. Now at the Brandywell, Derry City beat Cork City 2-1. This was a vital win for the Candy Stripes. I did say in the preview to this game that Derry City had done well in the road in the last 2 games, picking up 4 points at Sligo Rovers and Shamrock Rovers. They would have been happy with. So it's important for them to get back at the Brandywell and pick up the 3 points. So that's 7 from 9 now. They'll be very happy with that. And it wasn't easy. It never was going to be easy though. Kit Nelson gives Cork City the lead on 14 minutes. And at 1-0, actually, Brian Maher makes a very good save from a free kick as well. Ronan Boyce, acrobatic goal in 65 minutes, puts Derry City level. And Michael Duffy in 74 does well, although Truce will be disappointed with the way he let it through his legs, if I'm honest with you. On 74 minutes, give Derry City all 3 points. An important 3 points from the Candy Stripes. They're on 11 points now. They've won 3, drawn 2, lost 3. Overall, not scoring enough goals. They've only scored 7 goals in the league. Has anyone scored less? Surprisingly, they have. But when I say surprisingly, that team is Shamrock Rovers, believe it or not. They've only scored 6 goals in 7 games. We'll talk about them later, though. But I suppose the biggest point for Cork City to be made in this game is the growing injury list, to be fair. I think O'Sullivan picked up a knock, but he might be okay. But we know the players are without already influential players like Shawnee Maguire, Evan McLaughlin at Derry City, you know all about it. He's been a good player for Cork, by the way. Greg Bulger, etc. Dyke Steele. But it looks like Rory Keating may have picked up a bad injury that might keep him out till the end of the season, which is a massive, massive blow for Cork City now. You know, I talked about the start of the season how Keating and Maguire could be very important to how well they do. Maguire's been missing for a while now. Keating looks like he's going to be out for the season, to be honest with you. And I suppose what makes this injury worse, it happens in the last minute, basically, of the game as well. And, you know, a lot of people come back to the Astro pitches. Did it have an impact? Maybe it did. But the fact of the matter is Keating looks like he's picked up possibly even an ACL, but an injury that could keep him out till the end of the season. So it's a massive blow for Cork. So Cork look a bit stretched at the moment. Defensively, I don't think they're best side in the league, but they're missing a lot of players that make them better in the attacking end of the pitch for me. So, you know, that's the growing injury is probably more concerning than the actual result, to be fair. As I said, Derry City will be happy enough. Liam Boyce still hasn't scored yet. Hasn't done enough for me so far. And, you know, Hooben's out and, you know, Mullen was suspended, but Mullen might be back next week to start. I mean, he will be back, but he may well start. Liam Boyce, hard to know. Is it a case if he gets a goal, he gets confident and you see better play come into his game? It is difficult to know. So far, he hasn't impressed at all. And, you know, as I said, they scored 7 goals. Michael Duffy scored 5 of their 7 goals this season. Whereas that's good from a Duffy point of view, from a Derry team point of view. Not great. They need other lads chipping in. There's no doubt about it, because you can't rely on one player, particularly if they're not a striker. You know what I mean? Duffy isn't a striker. He's well able to score, but he's not a striker. So that's a bit of an issue for them at the moment. That said, they'll be delighted to pick up the 7 out of the last 9. Let me know what you think in the comments, Derry City fan or Cork City fan. Now at Sullivan Land Park finished Drogheda United 2, Waterford FC 0, and Drogheda United returned to the summit of the league. Warren Davis with his goal right in half time, and Darren Markey on 67 minutes gave Drogheda a deserved 2-0 win against the Blues. Davis' goal in 45 minutes was well taken. He reads it very well, but the control and the composure of the finish is fantastic. A man on form, 3 goals this season, playing really well. And, you know, Douglas James Taylor and Josh Thomas missing. It's vital that someone stepped up. And Davis is starting to deliver, I would say, on his promise, to be fair. And he's a key player for the team. Waterford had a couple of good chances though, right in half time as well. I think Olawenku, isn't it? That's his name, isn't it? I never pronounce his name. Olainka. Sorry. Olainka. He has to score. He has to score that header, and that gets him back into the game. But he doesn't. Paul Hammond then is foiled by a brilliant smothering save from Luke Dennison as well. Ryan Brennan smacks the bar later on as well. But yeah, Markey puts them 2-0 up in 67. And this is the advantage of a brilliant ball playing into the box. It's a delicious ball playing in the box for Markey. And I think, to be honest, the Waterford defence are afraid to touch it, to be honest with you. It's that good of a ball. And in the end, it actually goes into the net by its own accord. And all it would have taken was a glance from someone like Conor Keeley, and it would have been a goal as well. But a delicious ball into the box. That often happens when you play a brilliant ball into the box. Either connects off a defender or can go in as such, like it did. But Markey will be delighted that he's credited with that goal. And it's a massive win for Drogheda United. And they just generally look so solid as a team defensively as well. They look like they're not going to concede more than a goal a game. Conceded 4 goals in the first 8 matches. As for Waterford, gone back to a back four the last couple of games, mainly down to the fact that they're missing a few, particularly Andy Boyle, missing his leadership at the back, I think. I don't think the back four suits the players they have, if I'm honest with you. Horton at right back, not really a right back. You've got Leahy as centre back in a back two. I think he's okay in a back three on the left, but not really in a back two. He's playing with Kasper Rakowski as well, and I don't think that's suiting them at the moment. I do think the defence is their weakest point anyway, even if everyone's available, to be honest with you. But I really don't think it's suiting them at the moment. I think you'd rather go to a back three with 2 wing backs if possible, but that's the way it is. And yeah, I mean, Waterford again had a really good start, didn't they? They flew out of the traps a little bit. In the last few weeks now, last few games, it's gone a bit stale. Although I did say they put in a really good performance against Pats, and if they replicate that, they had a chance of getting something at Sullivan and Lamb Park. But they didn't really, did they? To be fair, I know they had a couple of good chances, decent chances, but overall, in terms of performance, they didn't really, and they needed to. Drogheda, a bit machine-like at the moment. You just don't know how far Drogheda can get, let's be honest. I've said this before. I mean, no one knew how far Shelbourne would get last season, and it seems to be at the moment the teams in general that are very solid and don't give away much at the back and are devastating the counter-attack. That seems to be the way to go almost at the moment. It worked well for Shelbourne last year. It's working so well for Drogheda so far this year. You could put Galway in that boat a little bit as well. So, great start for the Boyne-siders, and I suppose the Blues would be disappointed with another defeat. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, Damien DC Park finished Galway United 0, Shamrock Rovers 1, Rory Gaffney's goal, 48 minutes. And I think some people in the preview show misunderstood my point when I said that Shamrock Rovers always have a difficult game here at Galway. They do, to be fair. I know they've won the last number of games here, but they've all been very, very tight. Either late goals or 1-0s, for example, like this one here. And delighted to see Rory Gaffney, to be honest, back and scoring a goal. The Galway native himself will be delighted with that one. His first goal in a long, long time, isn't it? And a massive win for Shamrock Rovers. They haven't scored many goals, Rovers, but they haven't conceded many either. It's a strange one with them at the moment. They've played 7. They've scored 6 goals. Not good enough. And they'll be hoping Gaffney can come in and provide goals for them. They've only conceded 5, to be fair, as well. Only Drogheda United have conceded less than Shamrock Rovers. But they'll be delighted with the win because they've picked up a little bit of form in terms of the results lately, the Dubliners. And they dealt well with the threat of Galway United, I felt, in this game. Galway United, as usual, were organised, they worked very hard, etc., etc. Lack punch on the day. The goal they give away, they'll be disappointed though. Evan Watts has been excellent the last few weeks. It's a bit of a mix-up between him and Walsh. Lack of communication, you could say. Walsh tries to head it clear, but Watts comes in and tries to fist it at the same time, and neither happens, and it drops to that man Rory Gaffney, who scores to give Shamrock Rovers a vital 3 points in the game. And it's just seeing what Shamrock Rovers fans think of the performances so far this season. They do generally start quite slow, but they're quite miserly, you'd have to say, at the back. Very good defensively overall. they would like to score more goals, there's no doubt about that. And I just don't mean from the strikers, I just mean generally from the team, to be honest with you. I mean, there's midfielders that are well capable of finding the net for Shamrock Rovers. As for Galway United, still in third place. Their first defeat of the season, of course, as well. And, they'll be disappointed. When it shows how far Galway United have come, though, to be third in the league, getting the first defeat after 8 games and saying they're disappointed with the defeat at home to Shamrock Rovers. So that tells its own story from a Galway United point of view. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, Richmond Park finished St. Patrick's Day 0, Shelbourne 0, and I suppose I won't vlog this game. Check that back if you haven't seen it. And I suppose the fact there were no goals was a bit disappointing for the game, to be honest. Who'll be the happier with the draw? And I think this is kind of the point as well. I think both sides would have been content enough, actually, with the point, to be honest with you. Pats, I mean, they're second in the league in 14, Shelbourne are fourth in 13. There was an element of that a little bit, I think, that neither side, not that they wanted to win the game, but maybe they weren't willing to take risks on to win the game. Pats were the better side in the first half in this match, so most of the running. Had a couple of chances, some of the finishing, you wouldn't say they were gilt-edged, but some of the finishing was poor. Brandon Cavan had a chance, which I personally expect him to do better from the edge of the area when it comes back from Mulroney and plays it over the bar. In that first half, there were a couple of other opportunities. Shelbourne tried to break when they could. Overall, Shelbourne defended well. Melia does well to strike a volley from a corner kick, which would have been some goal if that went into the net, but it was blocked. And Forrester has a good effort where he goes close with Karen stretching in that first half. And Pats, the better side in the first half. I think at times they moved it too slowly, but I still think they were a better side in the first half. Second half, Shells were definitely the better side, and they changed it up a little bit. Wood started to come in more inside a little bit, caused a lot of problems. I think Chapman has best game for Shelbourne. He looked more like Sligo Rovers Chapman, to be honest with you. Meepo come on and forced a good save from Nang, and Ali Coote had a good chance from a header where if it was somebody else maybe in that position, they might have done better potentially. But the likes of Lewis Temple came in, done a great job at centre back for Shelbourne. I thought Mark Coyle did very well on the right hand side at centre back position too for Shelbourne, and they just played with a bit more tempo in the second half and a better side. Pats looked a bit tired in the last 20 minutes, to be honest with you. Whether that was the case or not, it just looked as such. And if anyone's going to nick it in that second half, in the last 25 minutes, was most definitely Shelbourne. If Pats had scored, you would have said it was against the run of play. So yeah, I think from a Pats point of view, it's been an okay start. I mean, they're second in the league. They haven't fired on all cylinders by any means, but I think one of the disappointments for me with Pats so far is the wingers. I don't think Albazzetti or Mulroney overall have played very well in the first 8 games, and they were so important when Pats went in that run at the end of last season. I think everywhere else they've been quite solid, to be honest with you. Keane is obviously a loss, as is Boyd for Shelbourne. But yeah, it's not quite happening for those two players at the moment. They don't look like they're playing with confidence. They're certainly not playing with any great quality, it has to be said, and that takes away a little bit from Pat's attacking play, a lot from Pat's attacking play, actually. It's good to see Keane Levy back for Pat's, and obviously Lennon in the side from the start. Levy was involved, probably the best move of the match, though, all the same, in the second half. It was a third man run, a little 1-2 as well, and Kearns comes out and does very well to block it up. But Shelbourne, I think, are starting to look a bit more in the last couple of weeks like the Shelbourne last season. The way they're well organised, they're starting to play. They look like they have a bit more belief in what they're doing as well, starting to look a bit more solid. And this is without the likes of Paddy Barrett and Sean Gannon, by the way. So they'll be absolutely delighted with that, I think. And, it's a long way to go in the season. It's hard to know what exactly is going to happen, but it's a good chance when they play each other again later in the season. They're both in around the top. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Past Shelbourne fan. So guys, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments in general of the results over the weekend. Subscribe to the channel, and once again, thanks for watching. Bye.